Anyway, education, I believe, is one of the most important things for any profession. I think that everybody here believes that. If you're here, you believe that too. I have a story that I like to tell. It happened to me probably 10 or 15 years ago. I remember the place. I was at an Ashi National Convention in New Orleans, and I think it was the late 90s. I think it was maybe 98 or 99 or so. I know those of you maybe who went, was it around then? Yes. I know we've been there since, but that was a good convention. That was fun. And I remember I was sitting in a classroom, and I was observing for a few minutes, and I decided to move from one classroom to another one. And I walked out in the hall. There's a guy standing there, and he saw me, and he looks at me and he says, "I'm mad." I'm like, great. Yeah, I got to go. No. Anyway, he says to me, "I'm mad." And of course, I was inquisitive. I'm wondering, maybe I could help the guy. So, what's the matter? What's up? So he says to me, "I'm mad that I have to be here, that I have to spend, $1,000 or whatever it was at the time. I'm mad that I have to be here to learn about home inspection, to get my 20 CEs or MRCs, whatever we called them at the time. I'm mad that I have to get these, and that's why I'm here." And I said, "So, it makes you a better inspector." And he looks at me, straight on, looks me in the eye, and he says to me, "I've been doing this for 15 years. I know everything there is to know about home inspection." He said that to me, dead on straight, no smile. He was serious. And of course I look at him, "Really?" And I said, "Well, just think of it's not just the classrooms, it's the networking, it's what you learn from talking to other inspectors. It's, there's much more to it than sitting in a classroom. That is part of it, but there's so much more to do." He said, "I don't need that, I don't need anything, I'm an expert at this." I finally just gave up, unfortunately. I said, "Well, good luck to you." Thinking to myself later on, if I ever get like that, put me in a home. Get rid of me. I'm no longer relevant. I don't deserve to be here. So, not to blow my own horn, I've been doing this for 27 years. And, I've done about 10,000 inspections. That's a lot. I don't know everything. I learn something new basically houses are all pretty much the same. Some have basements, some don't, and so on. And there's different things to look at. And I learned that. So to me, it increases my knowledge, and it makes me a better inspector. And I can be conversant with any inspector pretty much anywhere in the country. And I think that's important. And I think that education and continuing our education and learning more all the time and coming to events like this, going to Ashi National, going to our convention in Las Vegas, and anything that you can get to that you can find the money to go do is going to make you more money, is what I think. The more education you have, it's just like in any profession. Let's look at basic schooling. We all know that there's studies out there that people with a college education, for the most part, make about 30% more money than people who graduated high school and went right to work. That's a known fact. Okay, there's lots of stuff. We all agree with that, right? For the most part, for the population, it's a known fact. Well, I think the same thing applies to home inspectors, but a little bit different aspect of it. I think the more that you know, the more diversified that you can be, and the more of an expert you are on home inspection, the more you're worth. I have found it true in my own business. When I started home inspection back in 85 or so, I made it a goal of mine. When I started, first goal, get work, obviously. Once I started getting work, I got involved with Ashi and our state association. We started the local chapter in San Diego. Get to know other home inspectors. I also made it a goal to get 2 credentials every year. 2. I figured I could do that. It was extra work. It's extra schooling. Not a whole lot, going to seminars and so on, but I made it a goal. So first year, I got California contractor's license. I'm sorry, no, I didn't do that first. First year I got CABO residential inspector certification. Remember the CABO codes from years ago? Kind of like it was very similar to the Southern Building Code, SBCCI code. Real similar. I got certified. That's a credential I could maybe use. Then I got combination certified by ICBO at the time, is now ICC. Then I got contractor's license. Then I went to other courses and got other certifications. I wanted to have basically credentials to prove that I'm, a credible home inspector. I wanted to have that because, back in the days, years ago, there wasn't really any credential. Actually, real estate agents would ask us, this is in California, are you licensed? Licensed what? Home inspector. Well, there's no such thing in California. Matter of fact, at the time, I think the only licensing state was Texas, as I recall. They were the first, I believe. And, part of that was education, but I figured I better get some kind of license. So I got my general contractor's license in California, other states. I happened to be a certified Virginia home inspector as well because I lived there for a while. But, it's the credential building and the education which helped me to see the light about other alternatives and other opportunities. We've been through, at least I've been through a couple of pretty bad times in real estate in my home inspection career. And I found that being able to perform other types of inspections like commercial, like I was a deputized code official at one time where I did inspections, off-hours inspections for certain jurisdictions in the San Diego County area. How was I able to do that? Because I had the credential. I had the ICBO at the time, certification. So, getting this education and traveling around and talking to other inspectors and building my credentials, I found to be, a very important part of my business. And, it's grown today to be where, I travel around a lot and perform a lot of educational events for inspectors. And it's fun. I get to share what I've learned over the years, make some suggestions. Here's things you might want to think about doing. And, we can all better ourselves by doing that. We can charge more. That's part of it too. When you have these credentials and this education and, learning at these different events that we go to, it'll make you feel like you're worth more. Now, once you believe it, I believe I'm worth $200 an hour. If you believe it, so will everyone else. And you don't have a problem charging that. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more, whatever. It's around there. That's a number. But you yourself have to believe it. I have this education. I've been to these seminars, these conferences. I can tell you that when you get to the point, and some of you have probably done this, where you work as a subject matter expert on, maybe it's home inspection, maybe it's building, it's plumbing, whatever it is. Sometimes it's for a legal case. It may be for, as an independent third-party expert. There's lots of different things you can do. You will be grilled on your credentials. Okay, I've been there. Vaudois. You will be grilled on your credentials. Now, you can say that I'm I've 25 years, I'm the best home inspector in Georgia. Well, so other people can say that too. Can you prove it? And if you have a curriculum vitae, a CV or a resume where you can list a lot of different things that you've been to and a lot of different training you've had, it makes you a more valuable subject matter expert, or an SME is what they can call you sometimes. So, list these things in your credentials. You come to this seminar, you're at the 2011 Southeastern Home Inspector Conference. That's something that you should include in your credentials. You spent 3 days here learning about what? Radon and heat exchangers, all kinds of stuff, and list these on your resume. I do. And many times you'll get asked about that. It's part of your knowledge base. And don't just forget it. Don't take the certificate and just, throw it away. That's not a good idea either. You want to make sure that you record what you've done over the years. Now, it can be a whole lot. I have actually 2 versions of resumes. One is for certain matters that I work on, and it lists a whole bunch of stuff. It's things that I've been to, like Ashi conferences since I don't know, 1990 or something. All these things, and the subjects as well, because you'll forget. I forget. I'd have to look back through the files and find them. But this type of education is what makes us, not only smarter, so we can work smarter, we can be more diversified, we can do our jobs more efficiently. I think that's important as well, is to be able to perform a home inspection or a commercial inspection or whatever we're doing in a manner that's time efficient for us. Because typically, how many are charging by the job? Typically don't charge by the hour when you're doing a typical pre-purchase inspection, right? Sometimes it depends, but most of the time it's a set fee. So the more efficient you can get through it and the more that you know, I think the better job that you can do for your clients, and also the more you can make for yourself. You can get it done. I've learned so many things in coming to different conferences about being efficient and accurate, more accurate with inspections, and a lot of it I learned right here. Like last night at the banquet, sitting at a table talking to other home inspectors, I learned a lot. It's a matter of being here. I know some people show up, they sign in, and they leave. Okay, we're all big boys and girls, and we have to control what we do, but I don't think that's really fair to yourself. You get paid to be here. You might as well go to the education and learn something, or at least be around and talk to people in the hallways, talk to people at the breaks, talk to people in the exhibit hall, because it's amazing what you'll pick up. I can tell you that when I had a full-time home inspection company in San Diego, I had that for over 15 years, that I got 30% of my referrals from other home inspectors. And you know how that happened? By being active in the chapter, not just sitting there, by doing something and by helping people get educated about different disciplines. Maybe it was plumbing, that happens to be an expertise of mine. Maybe it was helping do something with the chapter, but it's part of being visible. And chapter members knew that I did commercial inspections, that I knew how to inspect a steam boiler. Who told people to call me? Other home inspectors. Or when they were too busy, other home inspectors. They get the phone. When you get a phone call from a real estate agent or a client asking to do an inspection, I need an inspection Sunday tomorrow. Geez, I'm booked up for a whole week and then I'm going to Vegas. So, what's the next question? Can you refer somebody? Okay, you want your phone number to be on people's minds. Okay, that's an important thing. You want people to remember, oh yeah, Casey does that, call him. Or so-and-so does that. So that's an important thing too. And all that's part of its education, its visibility, it's getting out there and doing something. I've always told people that some people say, well, my business is kind of, low and this kind of thing. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing? You sitting home watching Oprah? Nothing's going to happen. You have to get out there. If you just posted a website, you think people are going to just go looking at yours? Thank you. Take care, everybody.